The cabin door slammed open with a crack that echoed like a gunshot through the howling wind, and Ethan stumbled out into the blizzard, his breath ragged, eyes wild with a fury he'd bottled up for years. "You think you can just erase me like that, Dylan? After everything?" he roared, his voice swallowed by the storm but piercing straight to Dylan's core. In that frozen instant, as snow lashed their faces and the world turned white, Dylan realized the fragile thread holding their family together had just snapped, for good. Ethan's boots crunched through the knee-deep snow as he charged toward the old Ford pickup parked crookedly in the driveway, the engine still idling like a stubborn heartbeat refusing to quit. The Rockies loomed around them, jagged silhouettes against the bruised purple sky, but all he could see was Dylan's face, pale, shocked, framed in the doorway like a ghost he couldn't outrun. Winter break had barely begun, and already it felt like the end of the goddamn world. It was supposed to be simple. Their parents, Ethan's dad and Dylan's mom, had dragged the whole blended mess up to this godforsaken cabin in Colorado for family bonding, a week of forced smiles, hot cocoa by the fire, and pretending the awkward silences didn't stretch like barbed wire between the boys. Ethan, 23, the elder stepson, had always been the responsible one. College dropout turned mechanic back in Denver, fixing cars to pay the rent on his shitty one-bedroom. Dylan, 21, still coasting through his art degree at CU Boulder, with that effortless charm that made professors fawn and girls and guys blush. They weren't blood, but after 5 years of this stepfamily charade, Ethan had started to wish they were, anything to make the ache in his chest feel less like treason. The fight had ignited over nothing, as these things always did. Dinner around the scarred oak table, venison stew bubbling on the stove, their parents cooing about holiday lights in the nearby town of Evergreen. Dylan had cracked a joke about Ethan's grease-stained hands, something light about how he looked like he'd wrestled a bear and lost. Everyone laughed except Ethan. The words had landed like a spark on dry tinder. "At least I work for a living," he'd muttered, low enough that only Dylan caught it. But Dylan, ever the provocateur, leaned in with that crooked grin. "Touchy. Huh? What's got your panties in a twist this time? Big bro, big bro." The phrase twisted like a knife. Ethan had shoved back his chair so hard it toppled, storming out without a word. Now, here he was, fumbling for the truck keys in his pocket, the cold seeping through his jeans like icy fingers. Dylan followed. Of course, the idiot always did, yelling something about calming down, about not ruining the trip. But Ethan wasn't listening. He yanked open the driver's door, the wind whipping it from his grip, and climbed in, slamming it shut just as Dylan reached the window. "Move," Ethan barked, revving the engine. The truck lurched forward, tires spinning in the snow before catching traction. Dylan jumped back, cursing, but didn't stop, lunging to grab the tailgate as if he could physically halt the chaos. The truck fishtailed onto the narrow road, headlights cutting futile swaths through the gathering dark. Ethan gripped the wheel white-knuckled, heart pounding like a bass drum in his ears. What the hell was he doing? Running? From what? From him. The road twisted up the mountain, flanked by pines bent low under the weight of fresh snow. Ethan hadn't planned this. Hell, he hadn't planned anything since his mom bailed when he was 12, leaving him and his dad to scrape by in a trailer park on the outskirts of Aurora. Blended family? More like a powder keg with a short fuse. His dad, Tom, a burly ex-logger turned real estate agent, had married Lisa 3 years after the divorce, Dylan's mom, all yoga pants and essential oils, with her wide-eyed boy in tow. Dylan, who painted sunsets that made you believe in something bigger and quoted Kerouac like scripture. From day one, Ethan had resented him, the golden child, the one who fit seamlessly into this new life while Ethan patched leaks in the roof and wondered if anyone noticed he was drowning. But resentment curdled into something else over the years. Stolen glances during family barbecues, Ethan's pulse racing when Dylan's knee brushed his under the Thanksgiving table. Late nights in the basement man cave, passing a joint while their parents slept upstairs, Dylan's laughter filling the room like smoke, warm, hazy, intoxicating. Ethan had buried it deep, told himself it was nothing, just cabin fever in a house too small for secrets. Until now, with the blizzard bearing down and the truth clawing its way out. The truck hit a patch of black ice, and the world tilted. Ethan swore, yanking the wheel, but momentum won. The vehicle spun out, sliding off the road into a drift with a bone-jarring thud. Airbags didn't deploy, thank God. Or maybe not, but the impact jarred him forward, forehead smacking the dash. Blood trickled warm down his temple as the engine sputtered and died. Silence crashed in, broken only by the wind's mournful howl. He sat there, dazed, tasting copper. Footsteps crunched outside. Dylan, barreling down the road like a freight train, his beanie askew, cheeks flushed red. He wrenched open the passenger door, snow billowing in. Jesus Christ. Ethan, what the fuck are you doing? Ethan laughed, a bitter, broken sound. Trying to get away from you, apparently. Didn't work. Dylan's eyes widened, taking in the blood, the crumpled hood. You're bleeding. Come on. We gotta get back. No. Ethan grabbed his wrist, the touch electric even through the glove. Not yet. I can't pretend anymore. Dylan. The words hung there, heavy as the snow piling on the windshield. Dylan's breath hitched, his green eyes searching Ethan's face in the dim cab light. Pretend what? You know what? Ethan's voice cracked, raw and exposed. Every time you smile at me like that, every time you say big bro like it's a joke, kills me. Because it's not a joke to me. It's everything. Dylan's hand went slack in his grip, but he didn't pull away. The storm raged on, but inside the truck, time fractured. 5 years of half-truths, of nights staring at the ceiling while Dylan's room thumped with indie rock next door, of swallowing the urge to cross the hall and pull him close. Ethan had done it once, drunk on cheap whiskey at a family wedding last summer, kissed him in the shadows of the barn, tasting salt and regret. Dylan had frozen, then pushed him away, whispering, "We can't," and they hadn't spoken of it since. Now, with the world buried under white, the dam broke. Ethan leaned across the console, cupping Dylan's jaw, thumb brushing the stubble there. "Tell me to stop," he murmured, lips inches away. "Tell me, and I will." But Dylan didn't. He surged forward instead, crashing their mouths together in a kiss that was all teeth and desperation, hands fisting in Ethan's jacket. It was messy, urgent, snow melting on their skin, blood smearing between them like war paint. Ethan's fingers tangled in Dylan's hair, pulling him closer, deeper, as if he could pour every unspoken word into this moment. The console dug into his ribs, but he didn't care. Dylan's taste, cinnamon gum and winter mint, flooded his senses, drowning out the cold. When they broke apart, gasping, Dylan's forehead rested against his. Fuck, Ethan. What are we doing? Finally being honest, Ethan whispered, heart hammering. For once, they stumbled out of the truck, the blizzard a whiteout curtain shielding them from the cabin's judgmental lights. Hand in hand, they trudged back, the silence between them charged now, electric. The porch creaked under their weight as they burst through the door, snow shedding like confetti. Tom and Lisa looked up from the fire, concern etching their faces. What happened? Lisa gasped, jumping to her feet. Ethan, your head slid off the road, Dylan said quickly. Too quickly, steering Ethan toward the bathroom. He's fine. Just needs cleaning up. In the tiny tiled space, door locked, Dylan dabbed at the cut with a washcloth, his touch gentle, reverent. Ethan watched him, mesmerized by the curve of his lashes, the way his lips pressed together in concentration. We can't tell them, Dylan said softly, eyes flicking up. Not yet. They'd freak. I know. Ethan's hand covered Dylan's, stilling it. But it's not going away. Not for me. Dylan's smile was small, tentative, but real. Me neither. That night, as the storm battered the cabin, they lay awake in their separate rooms, the wall between them thinner than ever. Ethan traced patterns on the ceiling, replaying the kiss, the promise in Dylan's eyes. For the first time in years, hope flickered, fragile, but alive. Winter break stretched ahead, 7 days of isolation, of stolen moments by the fire or in the loft. Maybe, just maybe, they could carve out something real amid the lies. But secrets have a way of thawing, and the mountain held more than snow in its grip. The next morning dawned brittle and bright, the blizzard spent, leaving a crystalline world glittering under a weak sun. Ethan woke to the smell of coffee and bacon, his head throbbing dully from the gash now bandaged crookedly. Downstairs, the kitchen buzzed with forced normalcy. Tom flipping strips in a cast-iron skillet, Lisa humming carols as she set the table. Dylan was there too, perched on a stool, sketching idly in his notebook, ever the artist, capturing the steam rising from mugs like it was poetry. Morning, champ, Tom grunted, sliding a plate Ethan's way. You look like hell. That truck gonna make it? Ethan nodded, avoiding Dylan's gaze, though he felt it like a brand. Yeah. I'll dig it out later. He shoveled eggs into his mouth, the domesticity chafing. How many breakfasts like this, pretending the undercurrent wasn't pulling them under, while their parents bundled up for a hike to the frozen lake. Ethan and Dylan volunteered to stay. Fix the truck, they said. The driveway was a war zone of plowed snow, the Ford half-buried like a beached whale. They worked in tandem, silent at first, shovels biting into the drift. Sweat beaded despite the chill, steaming off their brows. Finally, Dylan paused, leaning on his tool. Last night. That wasn't just the adrenaline, right? Ethan straightened, meeting his eyes, stormy green, vulnerable. No. Been building for years. He stepped closer, gloved hand brushing Dylan's arm. You, Dylan swallowed, glancing toward the cabin. Since the wedding. That kiss. I lied. I didn't push you away because I wanted to. I pushed because I was scared. Of this. He gestured vaguely. Us. The world. The fallout. Ethan's chest tightened. Me too. But I'm done running. They kissed again then, slower this time, under the vast indifferent sky. Dylan's lips were chapped from the cold, his body fitting against Ethan's like a missing piece. When they parted, Dylan laughed softly. We should probably actually fix the truck before they get back. Yeah, Ethan agreed, grinning for the first time in days. Wouldn't want Dad thinking we're slacking. The afternoon unfolded in stolen increments. A brush of fingers while passing tools, a shared thermos of coffee laced with whiskey from Ethan's flask. By dusk, the truck purred back to life, and they drove into Evergreen for supplies. Groceries for Lisa, but really, just an excuse to be alone. The town square twinkled with lights, families milling about with hot cider, carolers belting Silent Night. It felt worlds away from the tension coiling in Ethan's gut. In the cab of the truck, parked behind the general store, Dylan turned to him. What if we told them, after break? Sat them down, laid it out. Ethan's stomach flipped. And say what? Hey, folks, your sons are in love. And oh yeah, it's gonna blow up the family? Dylan's face fell. It doesn't have to. We're adults. They love us. Love the idea of us, Ethan countered gently. Not this. The doubt lingered as they drove back, headlights carving tunnels through the twilight. Dinner was quieter, the hike stories falling flat against the unspoken. That night, as the fire died to embers, Ethan slipped into Dylan's room, the floorboards groaning under his weight. Dylan was waiting, propped on elbows, sheets pooling around his waist. They didn't speak, words felt too fragile. Instead, Ethan crossed the space in 2 strides, pulling Dylan up into a kiss that deepened like the night. Hands roamed, tentative then bold, peeling away layers until skin met skin in the firelight's glow. Dylan's gasps were music, his touch a revelation, fingers tracing scars from Ethan's rough life, lips mapping paths of fire down his chest. It was worship, raw and reverent, bodies twisting in the narrow bed like they could fuse into one unbreakable thing. After, tangled and spent, Dylan traced lazy circles on Ethan's back. This feels right, he murmured. Like it was always supposed to. Ethan pressed a kiss to his temple. It was, but dawn brought reality crashing back. Tom's voice boomed from the kitchen. Boys, sledding today. Last one down the hill buys beers. Laughter followed, oblivious. Ethan dressed quickly, stealing one last look at Dylan, tousled and sated, before slipping out. The day blurred into downhill runs on borrowed toboggans, cheeks numb from wind and whoops of joy. For hours, they played the part brothers, rivals, tumbling into snowbanks with playful shoves. But under it all thrummed the secret, sweet and perilous. At lunch by the fire pit, Dylan's foot nudged Ethan's under the blanket, a silent vow. Yet cracks formed. Lisa, ever intuitive, eyed them over her thermos. You two seem closer this trip. Good to see. Dylan's fork paused midair. Yeah. Just figuring stuff out. Tom clapped Ethan on the shoulder. That's my boy. Always the rock. If only they knew how close to crumbling he was. By evening, the idol frayed. A phone call from Lisa's sister in Boulder, gossip about town. Innocuous until she mentioned Mark, Dylan's ex from freshman year. Heard Mark's asking about you. Says you ghosted him after that party. What's the deal? Han. Dylan stiffened. Phone on speaker. Ancient history. Aunt Jen. Drop it. But Ethan, chopping wood outside, overheard through the open window. Mark, the golden boy artist, the one who'd paraded Dylan around campus like a trophy. Jealousy flared, hot and irrational. Was this just a rebound? A winter fling to fill the void? He stormed in, axe still in hand. Everything okay? Lisa waved it off. Family drama. Nothing new. Dylan met his eyes, pleading silently, not now. But Ethan couldn't shake it. Later, as stars pricked the sky, he cornered Dylan on the porch. Mark, you still talk to him? Dylan's laugh was sharp. What? No. That was over a year ago. Then why's he asking? Because he's nosy. And insecure. Like someone else I know. Dylan's tone softened, hand reaching out. Ethan, this isn't that. You're not a placeholder. Ethan pulled away, the axe leaning forgotten against the rail. Am I? Or just convenient? Stuck here with no escape. Hurt flashed in Dylan's eyes. If that's what you think, maybe you should leave. The words landed like blows. Ethan grabbed his jacket, stalking into the night. The truck keys jangled in his pocket, temptation whispering. Run again. Always running. But he didn't make it far. Dylan's voice cut through the dark. Wait, goddamn it. Ethan, don't do this. He turned, silhouette against the moonlit snow. Why not? You said it yourself. Because I love you. You idiot. The confession tumbled out, raw and unfiltered. Have for months. Maybe longer. And if you're gonna bolt every time it gets hard, then yeah, go. But I'm not chasing ghosts. Ethan froze, the words a lifeline in the cold. He closed the distance, crushing Dylan against him, kissing him with all the fear and fire he'd held back. I love you too, he gasped against his neck. Fuck. I do. They made love again that night. Slower, deeper, sealing promises in whispers and touches. The cabin slept, unaware, as two boys became men in the quiet hours. Midway through the week, the isolation started to chafe like wool against bare skin. The cabin, once a cozy refuge, felt like a pressure cooker, walls closing in with every creak of settling logs, every gust rattling the windows. Tom and Lisa, bless their oblivious hearts, dove headfirst into holiday rituals, stringing popcorn garlands, baking gingerbread that filled the air with clove and nostalgia. Ethan played along, hammering nails into pine boughs for a makeshift tree, but his mind wandered to Dylan, always to Dylan, sketching by the hearth, charcoal smudging his fingertips like secrets. Their stolen moments multiplied, addictive as the flask they passed in the loft. A quick fumble behind the woodpile, breaths fogging the air. Lazy afternoons in the attic, bodies entwined under moth-eaten quilts while Miracle on 34th Street droned on the ancient TV below. Each time, the guilt gnawed a little less, replaced by a fierce tenderness. Dylan had a way of unraveling him, fingers in his hair, murmuring nonsense poetry about constellations and grease monkeys. You're my North Star, he'd say, half asleep, and Ethan would ache with how true it rang. But paradise has parasites. On day 4, Tom's old ham radio crackled to life during a snowshoe trek, pulling in a staticky broadcast from Denver. Weather warnings. Another front rolling in, fiercer than the last. Might trap us up here proper, Tom chuckled. clapping snow from his gloves. Like that Christmas when you boys were kids. Remember the power outage? Told ghost stories till dawn. Ethan forced a grin, but Dylan's eyes met his across the fire pit. Wary, excited, trapped. The word hummed with possibility. That night, as sleet lashed the roof, they gathered in the living room, candles flickering against the blackout. Lisa spun tales of her California girlhood, Tom belting off-key carols. Dylan, emboldened by mulled wine, suggested truth or dare, innocent enough, or so it seemed. Keep it PG, Lisa warned, but her smile said otherwise. Truths flowed easy at first. Tom's worst tattoo, a regrettable eagle on his bicep. Lisa's secret candy stash. Then Dylan turned to Ethan, eyes gleaming. Truth. Biggest regret? The room stilled. Ethan swallowed, wine burning his throat. Not telling someone how I felt sooner. His gaze locked on Dylan's, the air thickening. Lisa cooed sympathetically. Tom nodded sagely. Unaware. Dare came next, Ethan's turn. He pointed at Dylan. Sing All I Want for Christmas Is You. Full performance. Dylan groaned but complied. Voice surprisingly sweet. Hips swaying mock seductively. Laughter erupted, but Ethan saw the undercurrent. The way Dylan's eyes never left his. The promise in every note. The game dissolved into chaos. But later, in the dark hall, Dylan pinned him against the wall. That was torture, he whispered, nipping Ethan's earlobe. Watching you across the room, pretending. Ethan's hands slid under Dylan's sweater, palms greedy for warmth. Worth it, he breathed, pulling him into the shadows. They didn't hear the footsteps until too late. The door to the hall swung open, Tom's silhouette filling the frame. Everything all right? Boys. They sprang apart, hearts jackhammering. Dylan cleared his throat. Yeah, just grabbing water. Tom grunted, suspicious but sleepy. Lock up tight. Storms picking up. The door clicked shut, and they exhaled in unison, collapsing against each other in silent laughter edged with terror. Close call. Too close. Sleep evaded Ethan that night, the wind's wail mirroring his turmoil. Loving Dylan felt like juggling lit dynamite, one slip, and boom. Family imploded, lives shattered. But walking away, impossible. He'd sooner cut out his heart. Dawn brought the front. Gale force winds burying the cabin under drifts. Power lines down. Roads impassable. Cozy quarantine, Lisa declared, stoking the wood stove. They rationed batteries, played endless hands of rummy, the forced proximity a double-edged sword. Ethan and Dylan orbited each other, brushing in the kitchen, lingering glances over books, each touch a risk, each smile a spark. By afternoon, cabin fever set in. Tom paced like a caged bear, griping about missed football games. Lisa meditated in the bedroom, seeking zen. The boys escaped to the attic, organizing holiday boxes, they claimed. Amid tinsel and faded ornaments, they found privacy, a blanket fort of sorts, lit by a lantern's glow. Here, confessions spilled freer. Dylan unburdened his art school insecurities, how Mark had chipped away at his confidence, calling his abstracts pretty but pointless. You're the first person who's seen me, he said, head on Ethan's lap. Not the stepkid, not the dreamer. Me. Ethan stroked his hair, voice rough. You're everything. Always were. He shared fragments of his own scars. The mom who left with a note and a suitcase. The dad who worked doubles and forgot birthdays. Thought I was invisible till you looked at me like I mattered. They made love there, slow and sacred, the storm a symphony outside. Dylan's body arched under him, gasps echoing soft, trust made flesh. Afterward, curled together, Dylan traced Ethan's jaw. After this, we move out. Together. Denver apartment. Your shop. My studio. Real life. Ethan kissed his knuckles. Yeah. Real. But reality intruded via radio. Evacuation warnings for lower valleys. But up here, stranded till plow trucks cleared the pass. 2 more days, Tom estimated. Frustration mounting. That evening, tensions peaked over dinner. Canned chili heated on the stove. The last fresh bread gone stale. Tom slammed his spoon down. This trip's a bust. Kids, you holding up? Fine, Ethan said. Too quick. Dylan nodded, but his foot under the table pressed Ethan's. I anchor. Lisa eyed them. You two are awfully quiet. Spill. Nothing, Dylan said, but his voice wavered. Tom leaned forward, beer in hand. Come on. Stepbrothers stick together, right? What's eating you? The word stepbrothers landed like acid. Ethan's jaw clenched. Dylan's hand trembled on his mug. Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring. Finally, Ethan forced a laugh. Just the storm. That makes everything intense. Tom bought it, launching into a yarn about a 92 blizzard. But the seed was planted, suspicion. Subtle but there. Night fell heavy. Ethan tossed in his bed, replaying the almost slip. Down the hall, Dylan's light flickered under the door. Pacing, he knew. Unable to resist, Ethan padded over, tapping softly. Dylan pulled him in, locking the door. Can't sleep. No. Ethan backed him against the dresser, kissing him fierce. Need you. It was frantic this time. Clothes shed in a whisper of fabric. Bodies colliding with the urgency of the trapped. Dylan's nails raked his back. Moans stifled against Ethan's shoulder. They moved as one, chasing oblivion in each other's arms, the storm's rage mirroring their own. Spent, they lay whispering dreams. Road trips down Route 66. Gallery openings in Soho. A life unapologetic. We'll tell them on New Year's, Dylan decided. Clean slate, Ethan agreed, but doubt wormed in. What if they couldn't handle it? What if love wasn't enough? Morning cracked open to blue skies, the storm's fury spent. Plows rumbled in the distance, rescue imminent. Relief washed over the cabin, but for Ethan, to sharpen the blade. Time was up. They shoveled the drive, side by side, banter light but eyes heavy with unspoken. Tom's truck started first try, Lisa packed with cheerful efficiency. As they loaded gear, Dylan pulled Ethan aside behind the woodshed. Last night. Every night. I meant it. I love you. Ethan cupped his face, thumbs brushing cheeks. Love you more. We'll make it work. Kiss. Brief but searing, then horns blared. Boys. Chop chop. The drive down was surreal. Winding roads slick with melt. Pines dripping diamonds. Radio crooned holiday tunes. Tom and Lisa chattered about New Year's Eve bashes. Ethan and Dylan sat in back, thighs pressed, Hands linked hidden under a blanket. Silent vows exchanged in glances. Denver sprawled below, lights twinkling like fallen stars. Home but changed. As they pulled into the suburb, Ethan's phone buzzed. A text from his buddy at the shop. Heard your fam trip was lit. Mark been blowing up my line ABT Dylan. Drama? Ethan deleted it. Stomach sour. Mark. The ghost. That night, unpacked and alone in his apartment, Ethan stared at the ceiling, Dylan's scent lingering on his skin. A knock, Dylan. Duffel slung over shoulder. Couldn't stay away. They fell into bed, reaffirming in touches and sighs. But as Dylan slept, Ethan slipped out, phone in hand. He scrolled Mark's Insta, shirtless hikes, cryptic captions about lost loves. Jealousy coiled, ugly and green. He's mine, Ethan thought, pocketing the phone. But ownership, love wasn't chains. Holiday break ended abruptly. Classes for Dylan, shifts for Ethan. They texted nonstop. Miss your hands. Can't wait to taste you. Stolen lunches at the shop, where Dylan sketched amid oil cans. Feet tangled under the desk. Christmas Eve. Family dinner at Tom's. Turkey carved with ceremony. Lisa's famous pie. Under the tree. Gifts exchanged. Ethan got a new toolkit from Dad. Dylan a leather-bound sketchbook from Mom. But the real exchange happened in the garage. Dylan pressing a silver chain into Ethan's palm. Engraved North Star. Wear it for me, he whispered. Ethan fastened it, pulling him close. Always, but betrayal brewed in shadows. New Year's approached. The deadline for truth. Ethan rehearsed speeches in the mirror, words sticking like tar. Dylan, optimistic, planned a dinner, just the four of them, candles and calm. Then, the bomb dropped. January 1st, Tom's birthday barbecue, backyard strung with lights, neighbors milling. Ethan arrived late, grease under nails from a double shift. Dylan greeted him with a hug, too tight, eyes shadowed. Bathroom. Now, he muttered. In the powder room, door bolted, Dylan thrust his phone at Ethan. Text from Mark. Saw you with that grease monkey stepbro. What's the play? D? Slumming it? Ethan's blood iced. How'd he? Friend snapped a pic at the shop. Posted it. Tagged me. The photo. Them laughing over sandwiches. Innocent but damning, thighs touching. Smiles intimate. Who else saw? Ethan demanded. Dylan deflated. Aunt Jen. She called Mom this morning. What's going on with the boys? Lisa's clueless. But Tom's suspicious. Panic clawed Ethan's throat. We tell them now. Tonight. Dylan's nod was resolute. Together, the barbecue dragged, small talk with Uncle Ray. Dodging Lisa's questions about that girl from work. Tom grilled burgers, but his eyes lingered, sharp. Finally, post-cake. As guests thinned, they cornered their parents in the den. We need to talk, Ethan said, voice steady as he could manage. Tom paused mid-sip of scotch. Shoot. Dylan took Ethan's hand, visible, deliberate. It's about us. Me and Ethan. Lisa's brow furrowed. What do you owe? The room tilted. Tom set down his glass. Slow. Us. We're together, Dylan blurted. In love. Have been for months. Silence. Vast as the Rockies. Lisa's hand flew to her mouth. Tom's face hardened to stone. "Stepbrothers," he said, flat. "Jesus Christ. Dad," Ethan started. "No." Tom stood, chair scraping. "This ain't right." "Wrong." Lisa reached for him. "Tom. Honey. Wrong," he roared, veins bulging. "I raised you better, Ethan. And you, Dylan, twisting everything good we built." Words flew, accusations. "Please." Lisa cried, torn. Tom stormed out, slamming the door. Ethan and Dylan clung together, the world fracturing. Outside, Tom's truck peeled away. "Give him time," Lisa whispered, hugging them fiercely. "He loves you. Both, but love, tested in fire." The fallout hit like aftershocks, rippling through the family fault lines. Tom's exodus left a vacuum. Lisa shuttling between her husband's motel room and the house, playing diplomat with tear-streaked cheeks. "He's processing," she'd say over hurried coffees, her essential oils now smelling like desperation. Give it space. Space was the last thing Ethan wanted. He called Tom's cell relentlessly, voicemails piling like snowdrifts. "Dad, talk to me. Please." Silence answered, colder than any blizzard. Work became his refuge, days blurring into nights at the shop, torque wrenches and transmissions drowning the ache. Dylan fared no better, holing up in his dorm, canvases slashed with angry reds and blacks. Their dates turned clandestine, midnight drives to abandoned lots, fucking in the truck cab with windows fogged, chasing normalcy in gasps and grips. But the high faded fast, leaving hollows deeper. 2 weeks in, betrayal struck its first blow. Mark, that smug phantom, escalated. Voicemails to Dylan laced with venom. "Knew you were messed up, but banging your stepbro? Therapy's calling." Screenshots circulated in their old circle, whispers turning to stares when Dylan braved a campus party. "Freak show," someone muttered, loud enough to sting. Ethan found out via a late-night text. "Mark outed us to my prof. Says I'm distracted. Got a C on my final." Dylan's words trembled with rage. Ethan drove over, bursting into the dorm like a storm. "That fucker. I'll end him." Dylan pulled him down onto the bed, legs wrapping tight. "No. He's nothing. You're everything." They made love then, defiant, Dylan riding him slow, eyes locked, reclaiming power in every roll of hips. "Mine," he growled, nails digging crescents. Ethan flipped them, thrusting deep, marking territory with bites and bruises. "Yours," he echoed, spilling with a cry that shook the thin walls. But possession bred paranoia. Ethan started checking Dylan's phone when he slept, scrolling for ghosts. Dylan noticed, confronted him over greasy diner fries. "Trust me, Ethan. Or what's the point?" "I do," Ethan lied, shame burning. "Just scared of losing you?" Dylan's hand covered his. "Me too. But we fight for this." Resolution sparked therapy. Lisa, ever the mediator, found a counselor specializing in queer family dynamics, Dr. Reyes, a no-nonsense Latina with a Denver practice. First session, the 4 of them crammed into her office, tension thick as fog. Tom sat rigid, arms crossed. "This don't change facts. It's unnatural, Dr. Reyes leaned forward, unflinching. Tom, love doesn't follow scripts. It's messy, human. Question is, can you love your sons as they are? Lisa squeezed Tom's knee. We built this family from broken pieces. Don't let fear shatter it. Ethan spoke then, voice cracking. Dad, I tried to be what you wanted, the straight-A mechanic, the good son. But Dylan, he's my home. Denying it kills me. Dylan nodded, tears brimming. We didn't choose this to hurt you. We chose because we had to. Tom's facade cracked, a hitch in breath, eyes glistening. I just wanted normal for you boys. After everything. Normal's overrated, Ethan said softly. This is us. Sessions stretched into weeks. Raw and revelatory. Tom unearthed his own ghosts. A high school crush on his best friend, buried under machismo and 70s small-town scorn. Thought if I ignored it, it'd die, he admitted one rainy Tuesday. Didn't. Lisa confessed her fears of failing as a stepmom, of the boys resenting her. Dylan painted her a portrait, family as a tangled tree, roots intertwined. Ethan fixed Tom's ancient Harley, a peace offering gleaming in the driveway. Slowly, thaw. Dinners resumed, awkward at first, loaded forks pausing mid-air. But laughter crept back. Tom's bad puns, Lisa's wine-fueled stories. One night, post-Steelers game, Tom clapped Ethan's shoulder. Proud of you, son. For being brave. Ethan swallowed the lump. Thanks, Dad. Dylan and he bloomed in the interim, public now. Hands laced on walks through Washington Park. Kisses stolen under cherry blossoms unfurling late. Dylan's art flourished. Abstracts of stormy skies clearing to dawn. Ethan's shop thrived. A mural Dylan painted on the back wall drawing clients. Two silhouettes against mountains. Unbreakable. Yet conflict simmered external. Mark's harassment peaked. A drunken voicemail to Ethan. You think you're tough? He's using you. Trailer trash. Ethan deleted it, but fury festered. When Mark cornered Dylan at a campus art crawl. Miss me, baby? Dylan shoved him back. Fuck off. I'm happy. Word spread. Allies emerged. Dylan's prof bumped his grade, citing resilience in adversity. Friends texted support. A queer collective inviting them to mixers. But scars lingered. Nights when doubt whispered. Not enough. Climax brewed in spring, during Pride Month planning. Denver's festival loomed, a riot of rainbows and rebellion. Dylan begged Ethan to march. Show the world. Show us. Ethan hesitated, crowds. As judgment. What if Dad? He's coming. Said so himself. Tom had, gruffly, if it's important to you, I'm in. The day dawned electric. Blue skies over Civic Center. Floats blaring disco anthems. Ethan and Dylan arrived hand in hand. Rainbow pins glinting. Tom and Lisa flanked them. Signs aloft. Love wins, proud parents. The crowd surged. A sea of flags and faces, joy infectious, cathartic. They marched, steps sinking, cheers washing over like absolution. Dylan hooped, pulling Ethan into a kiss amid confetti. Unabashed, alive. Tom bellowed alongside, voice hoarse from chance. For the first time, Ethan breathed free. But betrayal's shadow loomed. Midway, a scuffle erupted near the stage. Shouts, a shove. Ethan pushed through. Heart-dropping Mark, red-faced, squaring off with a drag queen over spilled glitter. Fucking fairies ruining everything. Security hauled him, but not before Mark spotted them. Dylan, you and that redneck, pathetic. Dylan froze. Ethan surged forward, fists clenched. Back off, asshole, Mark sneered. Or what? Gonna fix my face like your junkers? Tom materialized, gripping Mark's arm. Kid, walk away. Now, bouncers intervened, dragging Mark off with curses. The moment shattered, but the crowd closed ranks, hugs from strangers, affirmations shouted. You're valid. Love is love. Backstage, afterglow mixed with adrenaline. Dylan trembled in Ethan's arms. He almost, but he didn't. Ethan kissed his temple. We're stronger. Tom pulled them into a bear hug. Damn right. That's my boys. Evening fell soft. Festival winding down to acoustic sets and fireworks. Under the bursts, Ethan proposed not rings, but promise. Move in with me. For real. No more hiding. Dylan's yes was a sob, joyful and fierce. Summer unfolded golden. Shared apartment in low-high. Views of the Platte River snaking silver. Mornings tangled in sheets. Coffee brewed strong. Evenings on the balcony. Dylan's head on Ethan's shoulder. City humming below. Tom's Harley rumbled over Sundays. Barbecues with Lisa's kale salads. Healing. Incremental. But stories don't end tidy. Fall brought Dylan's senior show. Gallery in Rhino. Abstracts of their winter saga. Blizzards birthing blooms. Critics raved. Collectors bid. Ethan swelled with pride. Tie crooked at the opening. Mark resurfaced then, sober, sheepish. A letter slipped under their door. I was wrong. Hurt people hurt. Congrats on the show. Be happy. Redemption or damage control. They burned it. Ashes to wind. Winter circled back. First snow dusting the balcony. Anniversary eve. Cabin rented. Just them. No parents. No storms. Just love. Season now. In the loft. Fire crackling. Dylan traced the chain around Ethan's neck. 1 year. Feels like forever. Ethan pulled him close. Best forever. They made love as snow fell silent. Bodies a map of survival scars badges. Touches gospel. Afterward, Dylan whispered, Think we made it? Ethan smiled into the dark. Yeah. We did. Yet the wheel turns, and peace proves fleeting. By spring's end, Fishers reemerged, not from family, but fortune's cruel whim. Dylan's gallery success birthed offers. A fellowship in Brooklyn. Full ride. 2 years. It's huge, he said over Thai takeout. Eyes alight. NYC. Ethan the epicenter. Ethan's fork stilled. Pad Thai congealing. And us. Dylan's enthusiasm dimmed. We'd make it work. Visits. Calls. You're my anchor. Anchor. The word chafed, rooted, while Dylan soared. 2 years. That's long. Silence stretched. Chopsticks clinking like accusations. You don't trust this? Dylan pressed, hurt sharpening his tone. I trust us, Ethan lied, the chain around his neck suddenly heavy. Just. Change scares me. Talk spiraled. Pros, exposure. Career. Cons, distance. Doubt. Tom weighed in gruffly. Follow your heart, kid, but don't forget home. Lisa baked empathy pies. Sessions with Dr. Rhea's unpacking abandonment fears. Ethan's mom. Now this potential echo. Dylan deferred. Fellowship deadline looming. Decide with me, he begged nights. Bodies pressed close. Ethan held him tighter. Thrusts deeper. As if friction could forge certainty. But seed of discord sprouted. Summer sizzled. Decisions deferred in road trips, Vegas neon. Grand Canyon vastness. They chased horizons. Hands laced over gear shifts, but undercurrents pulled. Dylan's sketches filled with skyscrapers. Ethan's silences grew. August scorched. Deadline hit. Dylan accepted, tearful. For us, it'll be our story. Ethan nodded, gut twisting. Yeah. Our story. Send-off party at the apartment. Friends toasting. Tom grilling brats on the balcony. Laughter masked the ache. Dylan air-kissing cheeks. Ethan nursing a beer. Watching his world pack boxes. That night, they fucked like farewell. Desperate. Devouring Dylan on knees. Ethan's hands fisting hair. Reverse later. Dylan's pleas echoing off bare walls. Don't forget me, he gasped. Never, Ethan vowed. Coming undone. Brooklyn swallowed Dylan whole. Texts flooded. Subway chaos. Love you. Photos of lofts and lattes. Ethan dove into work. Shop expanding with a second bay. But nights gaped empty. Calls crackled with static time zones. Exhaustion. Miss your smell, Dylan murmured once. Voice thick. Ethan jerked off to it later. Shame mingling with release. Fall leaves turned. Distance calcified. Dylan's updates thrilled. Studio shares. Queer scene vibrant. But Ethan's replies lagged. Envy curdling. A weekend visit. Penn Station hug. Dylan's frame slimmer. Ice shadowed. They toured MoMA. Hands hidden in crowds. But tension hummed. Hotel room. Reunion raw. Clothes shredded. Bodies slamming. Ethan pinning wrists. Dylan arching wild. Need you, he panted. But after, talk turned fraught. Mark's here, Dylan mentioned casually, tracing Ethan's chest. Grad program. Bumped into him at a reading. Ethan stiffened. And apologized proper. Clean now. Seems. Okay. Rage flickered. You believe that shit? Dylan's sigh was weary. Not about us. But people change. Doubt festered on the flight home. Mark's ghost resurrected. Ethan scrolled old messages. Paranoia a parasite. Thanksgiving. Dylan flew back. Tom's table groaning with turkey. Facades held jokes. High but undercurrents swirled. Tom pulled Ethan aside. He looks tired. You two all right? Yeah. Ethan grunted. But the chain felt like a noose. Post-holiday. Drift accelerated. Dylan's calls shortened. Fellowship demands. Late nights. Ethan's shifts lengthened. Overtime numbing. A fight erupted over FaceTime. Dylan late. Ethan snappish. You're pulling away, Ethan accused. I'm swamped, Dylan snapped. This is for our future. Our? Feels like yours. Words weaponized. Selfish. Distant. Drifting. Hang up echoed. Silence stretched days. Apology texts. Sorry. Love you. Ethan stared. Thumb hovering. Pride won. Reconciliation stalled. Christmas loomed solo. Ethan drove the canyon road. Memories assaulting. Last winter's cabin. Dylan's laugh in snow. He pulled over. Tears freezing on cheeks. Dialed. Voicemail. Come home. Please. Dylan arrived Christmas Eve. Cab idling outside. Ethan yanked him inside. Kiss bruising. Don't leave again. I won't. Dylan lied. Fellowship binding. They salvaged holidays. Tree trimmed hasty. Gifts unwrapped in bed. Dylan gifting a Brooklyn skyline canvas. Ethan a locket with their photo. Lovemaking tender. Reclaiming but fragility showed. New Year brought resolve. Summer reunion. Dylan interviewing for Denver galleries. Hope flickered. But betrayal brewed insidious. February. Ethan's shop hit rough. Client stiffed on a rebuild. Bills piling. He confided in Tom over beers. Dylan's killing it. I'm treading. Tom clapped his back. You're solid, son. He'll see that. Dylan didn't. A call, heard about the shop. Tough break. Ethan bristled. From who? Pause. Mark. He reached out. Networking. Art world small. Mark. Again. You talk to him? Just emails. Harmless. Harmless. The word ignited. After everything, Dylan's defensiveness rose. He's changed, and I need contacts. For your career. Always. Ethan hung up. Fury volcanic. Texts barraged. Block him. Now. Dylan, you're jealous of nothing. Nothing. The accusation gutted. Ethan drove to the shop. Punching a tire iron through drywall. Knuckles split. Blood slick. Lisa called next morn. Dylan's freaking. Says you're spiraling. I'm fine, he growled. You're not. Come over. Her kitchen smelled of chamomile. Love tests you, she said, hugging tight. But sabotage it. And it's gone. Guilt crashed. Ethan texted. Sorry. Scared shitless. Dylan's reply, me too. Spring break, talk in person. Interim agony. Shop stabilized with Tom's loan, but heart hemorrhaged. Dr. Reyes solo, fears a liar. Face it. Spring break. Airport pickup. Dylan's hug bone-crushing. Missed you. Apartment reeked of neglect, takeout boxes. Dust. They cleaned together. Domestic bomb. Then tumbled to sheets. Sex a bridge. Slow builds to shattering peaks. Mark's blocked, Dylan confessed after. You're right. My bad. Relief flooded. No more ghosts. Week blurred. Hikes and foothills. Nights mapping tattoos with tongues. But undercurrent persisted. Dylan's fellowship winding. Decisions dangling. Stay. Ethan pleaded one dawn. Coffee steaming. Build here. Dylan's eyes clouded. NYC opened doors. But you. You're home. Tug of war. Heart versus ambition. Dylan deferred again. Fellowship extended optional semester. Summer scorched decisions. Dylan's interviews. Denver offers solid. But Brooklyn's siren call. Solo show promised. One more, he begged. Then home. Ethan conceded. Bitter pill. For us. But concession bred resentment. Fights flickered. Ethan snide art star jabs. Dylan's stuck in neutral retorts. Sex turned combative, rougher, reclaiming dominance. Fall loomed. Dylan packed reluctant. Airport goodbye. Kiss saltwater slick. 6 months. Promise. Ethan nodded. Chain clutched. Love you. Plane vanished. Void engulfed. Distance distilled doubts. Dylan's posts. Gallery nights. New friends. Smiling with strangers. Mark's shadow absent but circles tight. Ethan's texts. Proud. Miss you. Replies lagged. November chill. Tom's call. How's the long-distance rodeo? Winning. Ethan lied. Thanksgiving solo. TV turkey. Beer chasers. Phone buzzed. Dylan. Family dinner here. Wish you were spooning me instead. Heart twinged. But betrayal's blade fell swift. December 1st. Mutual friend text. Saw Dylan's show. He's glowing. With some curator guy. Tight. Ethan's world grade. Stalked Insta. Photo. Dylan arm in arm with Alex. Bearded sculptor. Caption Muse Night. Innocent. Or. Called. Voicemail. Text. Who's Alex? Dylan's reply hours later. Friend. Collaborating. WTF? Friend. Echoed Mark. Paranoia peaked. Ethan drove aimless. Radio blaring blues. Confrontation brewed via video. Dylan's face pixelated. Weary. You're accusing me? After all this. Photo says otherwise. It's art. Ethan. Not cheating. Feels like it. Words escaped. Maybe we need space. Dylan's face crumpled. You mean break? No. Be honest. Tears tracked. You're suffocating me. Suffocating. The verdict. Fine. Go. Call ended. Silence screamed. Days blurred black. Shop autopilot. Tom dragging him fishing. Son. Talk. Ethan spilled. Tom hugged gruff. Hearts mend. But pride kills. Lisa sent care packages. Cookies. Kerouac quotes. Dr. Reyes. Grieve. But grow. Christmas alone. Cabin rented impulsive. Snow blanketing memories. Ethan hike trails. Chain discarded in drift. Symbolic purge. Phone rang. Dylan. Merry Christmas. Same. Awkward. Miss you. Fucked up. Yeah. Thaw tentative. Alex. Nothing. Over now. Pause. Come to New York? Talk. Hope flickered. Yeah. New Year's Eve. Times Square crush. But they found quiet bar. Dylan waited. Gaunt. Eyes haunted. Hug crushed air from lungs. Idiot. Ethan muttered. You too. Beers clinked. Truths tumbled. I ran to ambition, 'cause I feared losing you to doubt. Ethan nodded. Pushed 'cause I feared alone. Kiss sealed. Public. Unapologetic bar cheers backdrop. Hotel. Reconciliation carnal, slow worship. Tears mingling. Stay, Dylan whispered after. Or I come home. Decision dawn. Brooklyn's allure waned. Denver's pull won. Dylan resigned fellowship. Crates shipped. Return triumphant. Airport mob Tom. Lisa. Signs welcome home. Son-in-law. Laughter cathartic. Apartment refilled. Dylan's easel corner. Ethan's tools garage. Nights whole again. Bodies synced. Dreams shared. But scars textured. Therapy ongoing. Mark's echo faded but vigilant. Summer wedding small. Backyard. Vows under oaks. Tom walking Dylan. Lisa beaming. Life layered. Dylan's local shows soared. Ethan's shop franchised. Babies? Adopted later. A girl with Dylan's curls. Winters warmed. Cabin traditions theirs. Firelit confessions. Snow angels side by side. One eve. Porch swing creaking. Dylan leaned head on shoulder. Consequences changed everything. Ethan kissed hair. For better. Years wove tapestry rich. Threads of trial and triumph. By 30, Ethan owned 3 shops. Grease traded for boardrooms. Suits ill-fit but swagger-suited. Dylan, gallery curator, mentored young queers. His abstracts in museums from Santa Fe to Seattle. Home, Victorian in Capitol Hill. Garden wild with Lisa's roses. Walls echoing toddler giggles. Their daughter, Riley, adopted at 2, now 5, with freckles fierce and questions endless. Papa E, she'd demand. Why snow love mountains? Ethan scoop her. Dylan chuckling nearby. 'Cause it's messy, baby. Like us. Family mended sturdy. Tom, softened by grandkid cuddles. Boasting rainbow stickers on his truck. Took an old dog learn new tricks, he'd grunt. Flipping burgers at annual barbecues. Lisa led support groups. Her yoga now for fractured families. Blended, bent, but unbroken. Yet humanism humbles. Not fairy tale, but flesh and blood forge. Conflicts cropped. Ethan's workaholic relapses. Dylan's wanderlust whispers during slow seasons. Fights flared. Slammed doors. Silent treatments. Riley's ear infections triggered Ethan's buried abandonment. Snapping at Dylan over not being present. Dylan, stung, retreated to studio. Paints slashing cathartic. Therapy tent. Dr. Reyes retired. But new doc, gentle-queer elder, unpacked patterns. Love's verb, he'd say. Choose daily. They did. Date nights enforced. Riley's bedtime rituals shared. Vacations intentional. Yellowstone geysers mirroring their steams. Riley chasing bison shadows. Betrayal's ghost revisited once. Mark, clean a decade. Emailed Dylan. Congrats on the monograph. Proud of you. No malice. Just amends. Dylan showed Ethan. They laughed over wine. Bullet dodged. Climax revisited in subtler storm. Riley's school play. Her role as Tree in Nutcracker. Innocent till bully taunted. Your dad's weird. Riley home sobbing. Why us different? Heartbreak collective. Dylan held her. Ethan paced. We shield her. No, Dylan decided. We arm her. Pride March that June. Family unit. Riley on shoulders. Sign love is the best magic. Chance empowered. Riley beamed. Waving flag. Post-march ice cream. She asked. Daddy's kiss. 'Cause they love like mommy-daddy? Ethan knelt. Exactly. Love looks always big. Small. Same. Different. Yours is biggest. Her hug healed fractures. Aging tempered. Ethan's hair silvered at temples. Dylan's laugh lines deepened. Anniversaries marked milestones. Cabin weekends. No kids. Rediscovering hunger. 40s brought health scare. Dylan's routine scan flagged polyp. Benign. But biopsies wait a vigil. Ethan slept little. Chain refastened as talisman. Clear results. Champagne toast. Tears toasting fragility. Life's lease, Dylan said. Fingers laced. Renew daily. Humanity's core. Not perfection, but persistence. Tom's passing at 70, heart attack midfish gutted. Eulogy by Ethan. He taught me love bends. Doesn't break. Lisa moved closer. Riley's Graham. Dylan's 60th. Retrospective gala. Ethan emceeing. My muse. My storm. My sun. Dance floor sway. Riley, now artist herself, cheering. Winter's Eve. Snow soft. Porch swing same. Riley grown. Off to college. Nest quiet. Dylan nestled close. That vacation, elder stepson did this. Ethan chuckled. Changed forever. Best plot twist. Kiss lingered. Timeless. Consequences. A life richly wrought. Dramatic. Emotional. Romantic. Human to core. Fade to stars. Two silhouettes. Enduring.